everyone, welcome back to Atypical Wealth, where I'm giving you tips on how to build wealth using your home. This one is for my sellers out there or potential sellers. The thing about selling is people think, I need to be taking in this advice as soon as I'm ready to sell. I haven't decided yet that I'm gonna sell. This is actually good information for you if you have even thought about when you might sell. Okay, guys? The market changes constantly, but the things you should consider when you're considering selling don't change very often. So this video is for my sellers that are considering selling in the future, right? These are some things you should look out for when you're considering the market conditions and should I sell now or should I wait? That's the question. I'm Aamber Hickman, your South Bay LA Realtor. I give these tips all the time to both buyers and sellers to make sure, number one, that they're covered, that they don't have to wonder about this process. It's stressful buying a home. It's stressful selling a home, right? It can be. But with guidance, it doesn't have to be, guys. So that's what I'm here to give you today. Sell now or should you wait? Let's dig in. In order to make a wise choice here, we have to think about the market conditions first, okay? Think about the market we're in. We're early into fall right now. We just got through with a hot summer, right? And typically, home prices, they would be highest in the summer. People are usually getting the highest bang for their buck when they're selling their home in the summer. But really, we didn't see that until September. Guys, I go all into this during my market update videos. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can get updates on when those are being released, because if you're a buyer or a seller, you're gonna wanna keep tabs on the market to make wise choices. But let me give you the cliff notes. Yeah. In September, compared to the past 3 months, we actually saw the highest average sale price, which is pretty interesting considering the hot summer is over, right? So don't believe the hype when people say you should sell, when people say you should buy. It's not always true. Consult with a realtor who's actually keeping tabs on the market and let the data do the talking. One reason you might want to consider selling now is just that, the prices. Speaking of reasons you might want to consider selling now, sold prices right now are showing an upward average tick in Los Angeles for the amount of money sellers are actually getting for putting their home on the market. And of course, that's all depending on your market, your neighborhood. But as the story goes, LA still doesn't have enough inventory for the amount of buyers that want to buy homes right now. That is your unique advantage being in this great state of California, being in this hot spot of LA. You have that advantage working for you persistently. But especially right now, you're getting the most money for it. Another reason to sell now instead of wait, buyers are very hopeful right now. Like I mentioned, with those interest rates dropping slightly, they're still on a bit of a higher end than what we would have liked to see compared to, like, obviously 2021, 2020, right? But those drops make buyers really hopeful. They're waiting to buy your home. They're waiting to move their families into larger spaces. First-time buyers are waiting to finally strike the match and get into your space. I mean, there's somebody out there looking to build a life in your city, on your block. Don't ever think that your home is not desirable, because it is. It's just a matter of finding the right buyer, and right now there's more of them. That means that you're more likely to find the buyer that's looking for your space. Another reason to sell now instead of wait, and there are circumstances where you should wait, and we'll get to those. Some people say they need to wait to sell because they still have work to do on their home. They needed to get that new flooring. They were gonna get new fixtures for the sink. They need to get the bathtub reglazed. There's that one pipe that does that one weird thing when you turn it on cold water. Doesn't matter what it is. I mean, we all have things about our home that's just not perfect. But let me tell you the catch. The reason why you shouldn't wait, at least to get a realtor's opinion on this, is because it might not matter. No home is perfect, and buyers that want to get into your neighborhood understand that, and they're willing to take that risk. They might play tough or whatever, but quite frankly, they're here because of what you have, because of what you've built equity in, because of your space, your neighborhood. They want your block. So small issues really aren't going to be the deal breaker here. Of course, if there's an issue you know about when you're considering selling, you have the responsibility, you and your realtor, to disclose that issue to the buyer. Let them know up front, hey, the pipe does this weird thing when you turn on cold water, all right? And let them decide what to do with it. You guys can negotiate that, and you knowing everything ahead of time, you and your realtor could format a game plan. All right, we already know what we're gonna do. They're gonna complain about the leaky weird pipe when it does the thing with the cold water, right? You guys can already bake that into your list price and be prepared to negotiate based on those terms. Strategy, it's key. but you don't want to strategize alone, right? You strategize with a professional, you strategize with your realtor. They are paid to do that, right? A good realtor is going to make sure you're taken care of with that sort of thing. So instead of repairing, disclose, disclose, disclose. Just let the buyer know what they're getting. That makes it so your life is just easier. You don't have to do all of these last minute repairs and just the headache, the contractors. On top of that, moving, like who wants to do that, right? That's not fun at all. Have your realtor walk the home, find out what actually needs to be repaired. Because I'll be honest with you, I've walked plenty of homes and I've told people, stop working on that. Just stop. Because although you look at it and you can't stop thinking about it, like I really got to fix this before I consider selling, the buyer that wants your home, your space, your block is going to be like, gosh, I'm so happy I got in here. It's just about marketing, positioning, and focusing on what matters. So get a realtor to tell you what to do in that respect. Don't use that as a reason to wait to sell. Another reason you may not want to wait to sell, this is along the same lines of the home improvement deal I was giving you earlier. You don't want to wait to sell if the things you're planning on improving are not gonna give you true return on investment. I've done a whole video on what actually adds value to your home. You're gonna wanna check that out, because if you're thinking, no, Amber, seriously, I have to do these repairs, or I was planning on doing these upgrades anyway before selling, and I want to enjoy that upgrade 1 year and then the buyers can have it after that, that's totally fine. But make sure you're upgrading what actually matters. Don't use that as an excuse to wait to sell, because not all upgrades actually give you return on investment. If it's for sentimental reasons, then more power to you, right? But I think at the end of the day, when you spend as much money as you have on your home, you want something out of it and you want top dollar. Most people do anyway, right? So to get you that top dollar, make sure you actually check out that video on how to add value to your home so you're upgrading what actually counts. The last reason you may not want to wait to sell, and this one might not come as a surprise to you, if you need to sell, you don't need to wait to sell. Life happens fast, life changes fast. I've had clients who've had relatives that have passed away. It's a dire situation. I've had empty nesters that are in dire need of a smaller place. They just don't need the space anymore, and it's getting too hard to walk up and down the stairs. Like, you name it, things happen, life changes, and we only get one. So if there's a space that could give you higher quality of life, or if there's a state that can give you higher quality of life, if there's a country that you've been dying to get away to, why stay tethered to where you are? You already know what it's like to be where you are. There's really no unanswered questions there. So my question to you is, if life happens and you need to sell, why would you wait? Our homes ultimately are there to serve us for the time being. We take care of it, it takes care of us. If you've already done that, then your mission is complete. So make sure you're going ahead and living your absolute best life. I want that for you. Don't wait to sell. If life tells you it's time to sell. Okay. I'm a realtor, right? So of course I'm gonna be gung-ho, sell, 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 yes, yes, yes. But I'm a person, so I actually don't want you to sell if it's gonna put you in a bad position, okay? So let's talk about the reasons why you might want to consider waiting instead of selling. One reason you may want to consider waiting instead of buying is because you have to think like a buyer sometimes, and the buyer that's been trying to get into a home since the year 2020, the year 2021, is thinking to themselves, interest rates are still kind of on the high end and they're going down, so they're gonna drop lower. I can just wait. If you're really putting yourself in the position of a buyer that's been timing the market, it may not be your time to sell, right? Interest rates are still on the higher end than what we've seen over the course of the past few years. You might be the seller that wants to catch the wave of buyers coming when we have interest rates a full % lower than they are now. Now, I'll tell you right now, do I think that's a strategy for you? Not if life tells you you need to sell. I mean, if there is no reason for you to move, then maybe, right? If there's nothing pushing you to sell, then why not? Wait on that buyer to see the interest rates drop, then have a higher selection of a more qualified buyer later on. And you know what happens when interest rates drop? There's more buyers, which means they tend to outbid one another to get your home. If you don't have anything pushing you to sell, or any curiosities, any other place you want to be in the world, right? Then why sell? Just wait. Wait until there's a bidding war for your home. The thing is, there's always a danger in timing the market. You do what's best for you at the end of the day. If I didn't have to move, why would I move? I wouldn't. do what's best for you at the end of the day. One reason you may want to consider waiting instead of selling, if you know of new developments in your area, if you know that your area is going to boom one day soon, right? You might want to wait until they build that stadium. You might want to wait until that new mall. I guess people don't go to malls anymore. I like malls, but I guess people don't go to malls. Maybe not a mall. Well, for me, one thing that would drive up property values is a new Trader Joe's or a new Whole Foods. You might want to wait until that gets built. They only tend to go to areas that are going to boom one day pretty soon. So think about what's coming up in your market. Think about what's raising your values. And even think about what's going on in your sister city, the city right next door, because it's a trickle effect, guys. If property values boom in the next city over, it tends to positively impact you as well. If you're thinking it's a better idea for you to sell once that stadium is built out and there's nothing pushing you to do so, go ahead and do that, because it's true. Those things tend to raise property values, and maybes don't really work for buyers, but completed construction or just recently announced plans to build something near you that's going to enhance your property value, those things tend to move the needle on the market. Another reason to wait instead of sell. Again, if nothing's pushing you to sell at all, maybe you should do those home renovations that you've always wanted. Maybe, like I said, it is for you to enjoy, and maybe you'll sell in the next 5 years, fine. But for now, if you've always wanted new wood floors instead of carpet, then it's the time to do it, because that's the sort of thing that actually does get you more money on the sale of your home. If you've always wanted some landscaping in the backyard, but you want an oasis back there. You really want to go for it. You're not just talking about trimming the hedges here. You want a paradise maybe in your backyard, and you've always wanted it. And you think about selling one day, but it's just not for you right now. I say go for that. And when it comes to adding value to your home, go big or go inside the home, is what I always say. Go inside and work on the homes. Fix the leaky pipe that does that weird thing. Okay, but I say all that to say a good reason to wait to sell is because you don't really need to, right? And you have the chance to get more bang for your buck when you do. Caveat, if you wait too long, you do these grand renovations and you do it for you, but you wait another 5 years to sell, for instance, you have to make sure you gave yourself a timeless design. You have to make sure, because the buyer's gonna look at it, and depending on your area and how particular they are in that market, they're gonna be like, yeah, this is a little out of date. So I would like a seller credit, which means I want cash out of your pocket to cover the new flooring that I'm gonna have to do because this won't work, I have 2 dogs. Or this won't work, it's just not even my style, I don't really want it that bad, and I also maybe don't have a lot of competition, so what are you gonna do about it, Mr. or Mrs. Seller? You don't even wanna have that conversation. So if you're going to do renovations, keep it timeless, keep it clean, and if you need tips on what that means, go ahead and talk to myself or go ahead and talk to your local realtor. They'll be able to guide you to those flooring options, those fixture options, those things that will actually get buyers to truly turn heads and get you top dollar for your home whenever you do decide to sell. Another reason you may want to wait instead of selling is because maybe you are going through a tough time. Maybe there has been a major life change. Maybe in your case, it's not really a good idea for you to sell under pressure. You have the freedom, you have the flexibility, you have the time to wait another 6 months, to wait another year, to see what college your kid decides to go to before you're making that choice. This is a freedom that some people just don't have, but if you have it, definitely use it. Put your ducks in a row before you consider making the major life change of selling. If you can wait, you should wait. If you don't need to sell, don't feel pressured to do so, right? And it's hard making decisions under stress, and we don't want you to make poor decisions that you end up blaming your realtor for. Fingers crossed. We want you to be happy with the service and your decisions at the end of the day. So please take your time, get your ducks in a row if you're under stress. Do what works best for you, because this is your life to take charge of and not a realtor, not a YouTuber. Nobody can tell you what to do. At the end of the day, all we can do is advise and give you what we think might be best for you under the circumstances. And I'm happy to do that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more buying and selling tips and also wonderful home tours. I'll see you on the next one.